Daniel Rankin, ManCanCook, welcome to my podcast.
Thanks for having me.
Mate, it's an honour to have you here. I only discovered you a couple of weeks ago. JJ sent me a message saying, oh my God, this guy's content is hilarious. You should get him on the podcast.
Thanks. Yeah, great. I'm not surprised you only found me. I don't have a big following in New Zealand, so yeah.
Yeah, where is your following? So you've got 400,000 TikTok followers, 641,000 Instagram followers, which is a massive community you've built. Where are they from?
They're mostly dispersed between the US, Australia, and then the UK, and then New Zealand would probably be a bit down the list, maybe fourth or fifth. Yeah.
So for anyone else that is just discovering Daniel Rankin, a.k.a. ManCanCook, right here, right now, how would you describe your content and what you do?
Can I get you to move your mic closer?
Yeah, sure.
Thank you, matey.
Yeah.
All right.
How would I describe my content? I'd say fun, creative, maybe a little bit sexy. I don't know. Yeah, but I guess we don't Fraser. When I say we, Fraser and I, we just try and have fun and bake and have a good time and not really care about what other people kind of think about our content. So yeah.
Why were you reluctant to say it's sexy? Come on, you're definitely leaning into the sexy.
I'm so sorry. So sorry. Can we just start a slight technical issue?
Oh yeah.
And we need to start again.
It's okay.
Usually have to do this.
Oh, it's all right. No, it's better it happens 1 minute in then.
Nice little warm up.
Yeah. Also, how would you describe your content? Am I allowed to button while? It's a lot sexy. It's a lot sexy. Oh,
Let's
definitely.
start again and we'll get into it. Sorry, guys.
Right. So what's
Is Dan all right, or do you need him to be leaning in a bit?
Just a little bit.
Yeah, sure. I'll move up.
Thank you, mate. Okay, cool. That's better. If you could count to 10 down for me.
1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10.
Much better. Thank you, guys. All right, Dom, sorry about that. We'll start again.
Dan Rankin, a.k.a. ManCanCook, welcome to my podcast.
Thanks for having me.
Mate, it's so good to have you here. You are, what would you describe yourself as? A social media...
Probably a baker.
a content creator is
A
what
content creator, yeah.
Well, you have many hats, right? You're a gym trainer, a baker, a dog dad,
Yeah.
a content creator.
Yeah, I guess I wear all of those hats.
Yeah.
I guess at the moment it's mainly a content creator and a dog dad.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
I just stumbled across you a couple of weeks ago with the ManCanCook account, and I was thinking, where has this been my entire life? So you've got 400,000 TikTok followers, 641,000 Instagram followers, and the content is fire.
Thanks. Appreciate it. Yeah.
It's so good. So how would you describe what you do?
I'd say what we do, Fraser and I, we bake, we have fun, and I'd say maybe a little bit sexy, but yeah. I mean, mostly we just try and bake and have fun. Yeah.
Yeah, I love how you say we, like Fraser and I. Fraser's your dog, who is sitting next to you at the moment. He can't be seen on camera for those of you watching it. He's sitting on a stool just below table level. What is he, a pug?
Pug, yeah.
Pug, yeah. So you're doing all the heavy lifting. He's just sort of sitting on a stool behind you, just sort of being a good boy, watching you, really.
Yeah, I think he's probably the main attraction. Yeah, he's really chilled out. He just likes to watch what I do, and he gets little treats throughout. So he has a good time.
I'm a dog guy as well. So yeah, you've got Fraser sitting next to you, just staring at you uncomfortably. By the way, does it freak you out, the insane level of eye contact?
Nah. I guess we're in a new space. He's probably just
Yeah. And I've got my little Sydney Silky Kanye just sleeping on the floor next to me. Have you always been a dog guy? What's your relationship with dogs?
No, I haven't, to be honest. I grew up in Samoa, and in Samoa we have a lot of dogs, 5 to 6 dogs, and you don't really form that relationship that you do, I guess, in New Zealand or in Western culture. If your dogs, they're kind of just there to kind of protect the household. So I grew up having dogs, but not this way. And then I had a black pug. His name was Marvin. And then with my ex-partner, and when we split, she took Marvin, and I was devastated. And that's how Fraser came about. So, yeah, got Fraser after that, and yeah, we've been hanging out ever since.
Because I've got a terrible confession to make. I was never a dog person. I was even anti-dog, I'd say.
Yeah.
And then JJ and I, we were still together, and she wanted a dog, and it was her 40th birthday. So I got Kanye for her. You know how dogs sort of decide who their master
Yeah,
is?
absolutely. Yeah.
Yeah. He decided I was the one.
Oh, really?
So now I'm obsessed with him. And not long after having him, like he must have just been a couple of weeks or a couple of months old, I realised there was such an attachment there. I started Googling, like, how long do Sydney Silkies live for?
Yeah.
Because I immediately knew back then just how painful it was going to be when he died.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. Yeah, I think about that, but I try and just regulate those thoughts.
Yeah, I'm going to be a fucking mess. I'm going to be like bedridden for a week when he goes. It's going to leave such a gap in my life.
Yeah. Oh, same for me. He's about 7 at the moment, so he's got a few more years, or a lot more years, I'd say. Yeah.
Yeah. So we've only been talking like 5 minutes now, but the impression I already gather about you, Daniel Rankin, is you're quite shy, quite reserved.
I probably wouldn't say shy, but maybe a little reserved. Yeah.
Do you think that's like a Samoan cultural thing? Or?
Yeah, absolutely. I think humility and respect and the Samoa, fa'aloalo, which is quite big in Samoa.
What's that?
It's kind of just respect, basically.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, and humility is a big part of Samoan culture as well. Yeah.
Yeah. Samoan friends I've got, they're always talking like, humble yourself.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's
I suppose it just surprised. I suppose I'm just surprised because the content you do on ManCanCook, it's generally like 1 minute long videos.
Yeah.
Just with some snappy music behind, snappy edits, and it's no speaking. And you just look supremely confident.
Yeah.
So then it's like, oh, this guy's actually quite low key.
Yeah, I think people mistake being introverted with confidence. I think you can still be, or being a bit shy, or being a bit quiet. Like you can still be quiet and be confident on the inside. I think, it's important not to puff yourself up, but it's also equally important, not to shrink yourself. And you gotta just, be yourself and don't care what other people think of you.
Yeah. Well, I'm really looking to to explore the Daniel Rankin story. So the Instagram evolution, I went back all the way through your feed.
Really?
So your first post is 2017, and it's you lifting weights while Fraser watches.
Yeah.
And your second post is a dog poo in the shape of a love heart. And then as you scroll up, it gets like more and more curated. In the last couple of years, it's been like, you've definitely got an aesthetic now, which is very different to 2017. So the whole ManCanCook thing, how did it sort of begin? How did it start?
Cooking's always been, a big part of my life, but I guess it's never been the thing, which I'm grateful now it is, kind of the thing. But I started off filming cooking videos in 2014. They were on YouTube, landscape, a lot more dialogue, a lot more talking, but really hard to be consistent with that. I didn't know how to use a camera. My mate was filming it. So that kind of stopped. And then when I owned my own gym, I learned how to use a camera. I learned how to film. I learned how to edit, all that type of stuff. And then lockdown came around, and I wanted to teach my members how to make healthy meals. So we started off with healthier meals, and it was a tough time, COVID, and I thought, I'll chuck Fraser in there, give people a good laugh, and it seemed to work really well. Got into baking in lockdown and decided just to keep it kind of baking related. Yeah.
And then when did like the costumes get introduced? Because it's we'll drill down on this later on. But I suppose like was there a moment that you can remember where you sort of blew up, like a tipping point?
The costumes came in, and when I got Fraser, I was like, man, I'm not going to be the crazy costume dog person. And it was really cold one winter, so I got him a jacket, and I put the jacket on, and it looked so funny and cute, and I was like, oh, this is it. And I just went down the rabbit hole of getting costumes. But we started off with about 2-3 videos that ManCanCook style that you now see. And after the third one, it kind of went off, and I was like, oh, okay, cool. This is, Fraser and I really enjoy doing this, and other people seem to enjoy it. So let's keep doing it. Yeah.
I love how you say Fraser and I enjoy doing it. How do you know he enjoys it?
He does. When I'm setting, he knows when we're about to film, because I'll grab his chair and I'll grab the camera, and he'll just do zoomies around, and he'll just wait by his seat until I lift him up. So I know he enjoys it. Yeah. If he didn't, I'd probably take a step back from it or something. Yeah.
Yeah. What about your most popular video? Is there like one that's completely spiked and eclipses all the others in terms of
viewership?
Yeah.
Yeah. So there's 2 actually, and they're quite similar in views. They're about 10 million views. One, we made a cookie dough cheesecake. to ABBA's Give Me, Give Me, Give Me. And then the other one was Bad Touch by
Bloodhound Gang.
Bloodhound Gang, yeah. So we made a chocolate caramel tart. Yeah. Yeah.
Why do you think they were so successful? I suppose every content creator wants to know this and think, okay, why did this one... What was it? Was it the song? Was it the editing?
I think it was the editing. I got a little bit more creative with angles, whereas in the past it was kind of just front on. It was the same angle, but I do different actions. And also, I was kind of topless. You'd see in my past videos I'd wear a white singlet. So I think once I got rid of the white singlet, it seemed to get used to doing that. Yeah.
Okay.
But I'd like to not put it to that. I'd like to put it to the creativity aspect. Yeah.
Yeah. What do your family make of it?
Yeah, they love it.
They approve?
Yeah, absolutely. I do a lot of videos with my nephews. There's 3 of them, and they love it as well. But yeah, they all love it. Yeah, they're all supportive.
And in terms of like celebrity followers or followers with blue ticks, who have you got? Drop some names here.
Off the top of my head, Neil Patrick Harris. Yeah.
No way.
Yeah, yeah.
He's thirsty as, isn't he?
Oh, he's a great guy.
He's not there for Fraser. Just saying.
Oh.
Anyone else that springs to mind?
There's a few other actors, but doesn't spring to mind. Sorry.
That's all right. And sort of like blowing up and going viral, has it changed your life at all? And if so, how so?
I guess it's changed my life in a way where I get to do what brings me joy, cooking. And other than that, I mean, I'm able to do it full time now, so I'm really grateful for that. I've sold my business and just creating content full time. Other than that, I like to think I'm kind of just still myself, Dan. Yeah.
Yeah, how is it a full-time thing? Is it brand deals?
Yeah, mostly brand deals.
So how does that work? Explain that for someone that has no idea about that.
Yeah, sure. So when you're a content creator on Instagram and TikTok in New Zealand, so TikTok you don't get paid, but I think in the US and the UK you get paid per view. So I guess how content creators make money is through brand deals. So brands will approach you and you negotiate a deal to use their product in the video, and then you'd create the video, and then that's how it works.
So if we see you wearing like an apron with New World on or something, like you might have been paid for that, or
yeah, you would have. We would have got paid for that, or maybe some product for it. But yeah, mostly it'll be in payment terms.
Right, and the money's all right.
Yeah, it's pretty good. Yeah,
I mean, you deserve it. Like some people would say, it's like easy money. You just like doing social media and you're getting paid. But yeah, we'll drill down later on into the work that goes into creating each clip, because you can tell a lot of work goes into it. So. Is it a full-time job, or does it feel like a side hustle?
It does feel like a full-time job. We kind of get ready for filming on Monday. We usually film on a Tuesday, Wednesday. We'll edit on a Thursday, and then we'll post on Friday. So, 5 days a week, and then that's for one piece of content. I've tried to push to a week out, but it's just a bit overwhelming. And I think if you see 2 videos of me a week, it'll be... a bit cringe, yeah.
I don't know. Yeah. I don't know. The girls in the control room, I think they're like, not enough, daily. Do you get recognised in public much?
A little bit in New Zealand.
Yeah.
I was in New York recently for Christmas and New Year's, and I got recognised a lot over there. Yeah.
Oh, yeah, I've got that on my notes. I want to talk about that later. Some guy stopped you on the street from a very popular Instagram account called The Confidence Project.
Yeah,
or something.
Confidence Heist. Yeah.
Yeah, we'll get to that later. So that... Cause I always wondered about those things, like if it was arranged in advance or he just actually stopped you. But it looks genuine, like he just stopped you.
Yeah, he just actually stopped me. Yeah.
Out. Yeah.
Yeah, that was but I can see how people think it's staged. Yeah.
Yeah. Have you ever had a moment where you felt sort of overwhelmed by the attention?
Nah. I think like I don't get much attention in New Zealand. Like I said, I don't have a big New Zealand following, and I live in New Zealand, so I don't. I'm not around a lot of attention anyway. But I just try and be kind to people that come up to me and spend a bit of time chatting to them. Yeah.
And how much thought do you put into the back end of it, like social media algorithms? You know how the algorithms are changing all the time? Like how do you put much thought into that? Like I've seen documentaries with Mr. Beast, who's the biggest YouTuber in the world.
Yeah.
And just how much thought he puts into everything, like the caption, the thumbnail, everything. Like do you spend much time losing sleep over that?
Not really. I think YouTube's a different beast. I think, with TikTok and Instagram, like I do spend a bit of time on insights and see, if my following's growing, what posts are doing well. But I try not to spend too much time on it and kind of just focus on creating. Like any time I spend on putting attention into that kind of takes attention away of coming up with ideas and being creative. So I just try and focus on that rather than that. Yeah.
If you spent your whole life obsessing over that and chasing the numbers, you'd never wear an apron again.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
You'd be nude, I reckon. Okay, we'll take a break from the ManCanCook stuff and we'll go back to your early years and paint a picture about who Daniel Rankin is, and then we'll get back to some of the content stuff.
Yeah, sure.
So you're Samoan, but you're born in New Zealand.
Yeah, so I was born in New Zealand. My parents were half Kiwi, half Samoan. So I was born here and then went back to Samoa and spent most of my life there. So I spent about 16, 17 years there before moving back to Auckland. Yeah.
Yeah, I think I read an article about you. And I never knew this was a thing, but apparently, a lot of Samoans, they'll come to New Zealand to give birth just so that you can claim the New Zealand passport.
I think so. In that case, most of those situations, they have Kiwi parents or their parents already have New Zealand passports, but they'll come over to New Zealand just because it'd be easier, I imagine, to, I guess, apply for the New Zealand passport. Yeah, but a lot of the parents would already have New Zealand passports. Right. Yeah.
I suppose there's medical advantages as well.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah.
So, what are your memories of growing up as a kid in Samoa?
I loved it. I loved growing up in Samoa. Very outdoorsy, beautiful beaches. My dad has 6 brothers and sisters, so I've got heaps of cousins in Samoa, and we all lived on this plot of land. So there'd be 3 different houses, and it'd be my uncle's houses, and me and my cousins would catch up, in the evenings and go for bike rides or just hang out outdoors, climb trees and stuff like that. So it was a really cool upbringing. I really enjoyed it.
Can you swim?
Yeah, I can swim.
Can
not great though.
Yeah.
Like I can tread water, but ask me to do 50-meter sprint in a pool. Shocking.
It always amazes me how few Samoans can swim, because you're a relatively small island nation.
Yeah.
You're surrounded by water. But not many swimmers, eh?
Nah. Not that's a common misconception, I guess. Like people think islanders can swim because we're surrounded by water, but it's the opposite. Yeah.
Oh, God, I love Samoa. I've been there a couple of times. Every time I go, it always surprises me that Samoa doesn't win gold at the Olympics for the volleyball.
Yeah.
Because there's you go past these family villages, and every afternoon everyone's playing touch rugby or volleyball.
Yeah, absolutely. Usually around 5:30, you can walk down to the local field and there'll be a volleyball net up, and a whole bunch of people playing, and then on the other side you have a whole bunch of people playing touch rugby and just hanging out and stuff. Yeah. I grew up like that as well. So 5 o'clock, I'd walk down from my house. There'd be this big field. There'd literally be a mango tree in the middle of the field, rocks. It'll be steep, and we'll just be playing touch rugby. And you kind of use the tree to kind of dodge and sneak around. Some people will climb up the tree and go over and score a try. Yeah.
And what did you want to be when you were a kid? What were your aspirations?
Yeah, I wanted to be a fireman when I was a kid. I got into sports a lot, and then kind of just, you think that you enjoy sports, you want to do that as a career. So that's kind of where I went towards. I studied marketing and then sport marketing. But I guess as a kid, I wanted to be a fireman. But I think most kids probably want to be something like that.
A fireman or a cop.
Yeah. I mean, you don't know what you want to be. You're a kid, Yeah.
And religious family?
My grandma, I was raised mostly by my grandma. Yeah, she was very religious. So we would say a prayer every 6 p.m. in Samoa and would go to church on Sundays. Yeah.
What would she make of all this?
She loves it.
Does she?
Yeah. She really enjoys it, and she'll send me messages or, reply to videos, and yeah, she loves it.
Oh, that's cute.
Yeah.
And what about discipline growing up? Was it a strict household?
Yeah, it was strict. Samoan grandmas, they aren't very emotionally available, but they're there to make sure that you stay in line. There's a roof over your head. There's food on your table. So, but my grandma was lovely. She probably let me get away with a lot growing up. Yeah.
Yeah. It's interesting you say emotionally available. I don't know. I thought Samoans would have been quite sort of expressive like that. I suppose I'm just thinking from the people I know.
Yeah.
Yeah. What are Samoan men like? Are they sort of emotionally available and quite expressive? They're quite romantic, generally. Like they wear their heart on their sleeve.
Yeah, I think they're romantic, but I do think that there's a lot of suppression of emotions growing up. Yeah,
Like in terms of the vulnerability piece and
yeah. I think it's probably like culturally in Samoa, if you speak up to an elderly or your parents, it can come across as being disrespectful. Even if you're just trying to express your emotions, it could come across as being disrespectful. So, I mean, for myself as a child, I already didn't have emotionally available parents around, but with that cultural aspect of, speaking up, crossing that line of disrespect, you kind of double suppress. So, yeah, I think it was tough in some ways growing up like that. Yeah. And it definitely led to a lot of, I guess, trauma growing up that I needed to address. Yeah.
Yeah. How did that look? When did you realize you needed to address the trauma?
Probably maybe 2021.
Right.
Yeah. 2021.
Years old.
Sorry.
Or the year.
The year 2021.
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
I would have been maybe 27 or something like that. Yeah.
Yeah, because so you moved back to New Zealand at 15 and finished your high school at Mount Albert Grammar. I can't imagine that would have been easy as well.
That was tough. It was a massive culture shock.
Why move so late in your secondary school education?
I moved over a little bit earlier, but I didn't want to stay, so I really pushed towards my dad and my grandma to take me back to Samoa. So I went back to Samoa for a little bit.
Oh, you were homesick, or?
Yeah, I was homesick for sure. So I went back probably for another year and a half, and then I had to come over. I guess my older brothers came over first, and it was time. But it was tough. Like my first day of school at Mount Albert Grammar, one of the students made the teacher cry. The first class, in the morning, and I was just waiting there like, oh, this kid's going to get a hiding. But nothing happened. And I was like, what is going on? This is, I'm in a different world. That's when I knew I was in a different world, like schools in Samoa are a little bit different.
Oh, in terms of the strictness.
Yeah,
and
the strictness.
Exactly. Right.
Yeah,
in New Zealand, you can get away with murder.
Yeah, yeah.
So did you lean into that, or are you just like a good kid? And
I was always a good kid.
Yeah.
I just sat at the back of the class and
let other people get away with murder while you watch the murder.
Yeah, yeah.
I've heard you say that that move to New Zealand, that's when you first sort of experienced like anxiety.
Yeah, probably. I mean, it was a different environment.
Must have been terrifying. Like you're wondering what the hell's going on.
Yeah, it was. I mean, in Samoa, I had, my family, like my cousins, my grandma was there. I moved over to New Zealand, and my dad was away. He was a pilot. My mom wasn't around. So I had two brothers here, and they had kind of their lives as well. So I was, 16, going to school at Mount Albert Grammar, but I was like, living on my own as a 16-year-old.
Were you?
Yeah,
as in
pretty much.
flatting?
Oh, I stayed with my brothers for a bit, but they'd moved out with their partners, and then eventually it was I just on my own. Yeah.
At 16?
Yeah, about 16, 17.
Some people would see that as like a dream scenario.
Yeah.
You throw parties and whatever.
Yeah, I probably had one party at my house, but even then I was, just a bit cautious of the house and being respectful of the house and stuff. But I guess I had to become independent at a really young age. Yeah, so, 16, 17, that's, I guess, how my love for cooking came. Like, I didn't have parents around to make me breakfast, lunch, or dinner. I had to figure that out myself. So, first cookbook I bought was a Gordon Ramsay cookbook, and just watched a lot of YouTube cooking videos, and yeah.
Was that incredibly lonely, like being 16 and going home from school and there being no one there?
I guess so. Yeah, probably. I mean, back then, you're young, you don't really think about that stuff. But when I think about it now, like I wouldn't want my kids or any kids, I don't have kids, but any kids to kind of go through that. Yeah.
So, so you said like 2021, that's when, your mental health sort of reached like a trough, or, however you want to phrase it. And And I suppose that's a time when everyone was going through a lot. Like that was sort of like peak COVID. It was
Yeah.
a very confusing time. So how did that look for you?
It was tough. Like I owned a business then with an ex-partner, and I felt like a lot of responsibility to kind of keep the business going through COVID, and provide income for both me and my business partner back then. And then I went through a relationship breakup then, and I kind of knew like, okay, not feeling myself. I know I need to get some help. My brother actually encouraged me to go to therapy. I think I probably wouldn't have if he didn't, and I'm very grateful he did. Yeah, so kind of worked on myself. Went to therapy for a couple reasons. One, to process the breakup, but two, me and my partner back then, we weren't in a position to sell the business, or neither of us wanted to leave the business. So we were separated, but we knew that we had to work together. So, I sought help on processing that, and then getting some tools and some guidance on how I'm going to manage, working in this business while separated, with a partner. And
Yeah, how did you find therapy? Were you nervous the first time you went?
Yeah, I was nervous. Yeah. It was the first time I went, probably a 2-hour session. And afterwards, I'm like, yes, I'm fixed. But then it doesn't happen. You think you're fixed after one session, and then, other thoughts and emotions creep up, and you're like, damn, okay, I gotta keep working at this. Yeah.
Yeah. It's an ongoing thing, isn't it?
Absolutely.
When was the last time you went? Are you still going? Not at the moment.
Yeah, no, I probably went maybe 3 weeks ago. Yeah. At the moment, I kind of go when there's chaos in life, but I'm trying to go more just to prevent that stuff from happening. Yeah.
Yeah, I should be. Yeah, I probably went about the same time as you. I think,
nice.
During COVID, and then then one of the lockdowns happened, and it was going to be remote, and I couldn't think of anything worse than sitting at home on a Zoom call with the door shut.
Yeah.
It just felt too impersonal or transactional, so I stopped going. But I found it really good, and being a personal trainer, you'd relate to this. I feel like it's like a personal trainer for the neck up.
Absolutely.
So you shouldn't just go when you're about to have a heart attack. You should be going all the time as a preventative sort of thing if you can afford to.
Yeah, exactly. It is quite pricey, but I definitely agree.
Yeah.
It's like working on your physical health. You got to work on your mental health. But there are other cheaper ways to work on your mental health. If you can't afford therapy, I mean, there's counselling out there, and I think that New Zealand provides free counselling as well. So
Yeah, for sure. Is therapy much of a thing in Samoa?
No, not that I know of. Yeah.
Yeah, it's interesting. Like different countries and their relationship to it. Like if you're in America, or even I went to Argentina and South America a few years ago, and everyone over there's got a therapist.
Yeah, that's the thing.
They go all the time.
Yeah, I've got quite a few Brazilian, Argentinian mates, and they're like, they love therapy.
Yeah, I feel like therapists in South America are probably like personal trainers here.
Yeah.
A lot of people have them, and
Yeah.
Go a couple of times a week, cancel it at the last minute if you got a hangover or
Yeah,
whatever.
exactly.
Yeah.
Yeah.
How's your mental health now?
I feel it's pretty steady.
Yeah.
Obviously I'm always working on it. Trying to improve. But yeah, I'm in a good place right now. Yep.
Yeah, fantastic. So, we alluded earlier to the Confidence Heist Instagram page, which is a very popular Instagram page, New York based. So, how did you end up on that page? Your answer was great, by the way.
Oh, thank you.
Yeah. How did that happen? So, you just wandering down the street?
Yeah, I was just wandering back to the hotel, and David, I'm pretty sure that's his name, stopped me, and we had a chat. That's it. Yeah.
Just as organic as that?
It was organic. Yeah, there was no planning. I had never seen his content before, and then bumped into him.
Yeah, so you pulled your AirPods out and he asked you the question...
What makes you confident?
Yeah, and your answer was amazing.
Thanks.
What did you say?
For me, it's vulnerability. Just being able to express myself and be myself. I think that makes me confident. Yeah, whether that's lip syncing to Whitney Houston in my videos, or just being on a podcast, chilled out with you. Yeah.
When did you realize like vulnerability was like something to lean into and almost like a superpower?
I think, growing up, I suppressed a lot of emotions. I had an emotionally unstable childhood, so I didn't really have my parents around to kind of talk about feelings and emotions. So throughout my whole life, I ended up holding a lot in. And then when you hold stuff in, I think they resurface in more unhealthy ways. And for me, they probably resurfaced in, anxiety, insecureness, lack of confidence, stress, all of that. And I guess, when I started working on myself, I bought a few books and, got into Brene Brown and, started reading all that type of stuff.
Brene Brown.
Yeah.
You and me. I reckon maybe we're the only two guys in Auckland that read Brene Brown.
Oh, really? Yeah.
I don't know.
Yeah.
I just feel like it's not a huge male readership, but yeah, I love Brene Brown. And
Yeah, me
Mel
too.
Robbins.
Yeah.
Oh, how good. Yeah, because I'm considerably older than you, but it just wasn't really a thing when I was growing up. And then not necessarily how I was raised in my family home, but just wasn't sort of a thing to express or show any emotion. And then I went to an all-boys school, and the last thing you'd want to do is show any sort of vulnerability, because if you did that,
Yeah, exactly,
it would just be weaponized against you.
Yeah.
So you end up just like putting on this hard exterior shell and not letting anyone in. And then it's it's hard to unpack and unpick all that stuff, isn't it?
It is. I think that's quite common, among men in general, maybe. Yeah.
Mm. Yeah, you've mentioned a couple of times your relationship failing, and that was sort of like part of the catalyst for you to you go on this sort of self-discovery journey. Was part of the reason the relationship failed because you had walls up and were unable to open up at the time, or no?
Yeah, I think so. I think that would be a big part.
Right.
And I think the stress of the business kind of just amplified a lot of that as well. Yeah.
Mm. Are you seeing anyone now? A lot of people want to know.
No, I'm not seeing anyone.
Do you have a preference? Do you prefer to date men or women?
Women.
Women, yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, there's going to be a lot of dudes that are. Yeah. What do you get in your DMs? Like
a lot. Yep. I get a lot of stuff in my DMs.
Like guys and girls.
Yeah, both guys. I get a lot of. I don't know if I'm allowed to say it, but like Pics or.
Oh, you can say it, yeah.
Oh, yeah, dick pics. Yeah, I get a lot of dick pics. And I know
when you say a lot, what do you mean?
Usually maybe twice a week.
Oh,
yeah.
my God.
I get a lot of those. But when it's a dick pic because like you see the profile photo and you're like, oh, and then you just, there's no message. It's just photo. And I'm like, okay, yep, I know what this is. Yeah.
That must be quite alarming. The first couple of times you get that without asking for them.
It is, yeah. But then I get a lot of really lovely messages as well on how Fraser nice content makes them happy and brings joy to their lives and stuff like that. So I try to focus more on those.
Yeah. And what about thirsty ladies?
Yeah, I get a lot of date requests and stuff like that on Instagram. Yeah.
Mm. So are you just happy being on your own at the moment and just working on yourself, or are you sort of looking for someone, or are you just open if the right person comes along?
Yeah, I guess I'm open if the right person comes along. I think at the moment I'm quite happy, working on myself and hanging out with Fraser and working out and coaching at the gym and hanging out with friends. Yeah.
Yeah. Oh, that's cool. Oh, something else, just a random sidebar thing. I think I read this about you somewhere. You were learning to ride a bike as an adult.
Yeah. Where did you read that?
Eh?
Where did you read that?
I don't know. Maybe it's on Instagram or an article somewhere. So
yeah.
Are there not many bikes in Samoa?
Well, there are a lot of bikes. I was extremely overweight as a kid, and I'll send you a photo. But I just couldn't balance on a two-wheel bike as a kid because I was heavy. So me and my three main cousins would hang out. We'd go for bike rides. They'd have their bikes, but my one would have training wheels on it.
Oh, at what age?
Oh, I don't know, maybe 8 to 10.
Oh.
Yeah.
Oh, Dan, that's really sad.
Oh, that's okay. Thanks, though. Yeah.
Oh, like how overweight are you talking?
Pretty big. I mean, I was probably heavier than I am now as a kid. Yeah.
Wow, how did you get overweight? There's not a lot of like processed food over there, eh? Like everything's pretty clean in Samoa, isn't it?
I mean, there's a lot of bread, sugar, stuff like that, and I think I have a big appetite. I eat a lot. Yeah. I ate a lot as a kid, and I mean, in Samoa, I mean, we weren't allowed to kind of leave the table unless we finished our plate, and the plates were massive. So,
Oh,
yeah,
right.
yeah,
Yeah, I had a similar sort of upbringing, I guess, in the respect that it was almost like a famine. I don't know, maybe it's just discipline at the time, but it feels like I look back now and it's sort of like a famine mentality where you're not sure where the next meal's coming from. And it's like, yeah, we'd have to sit at the table until everything was gone.
yeah,
It was
exactly.
like a
Yeah.
disrespectful to the cook if you
Yeah.
didn't eat everything on your
Yeah.
plate.
But that's how I started losing weight around 12 to 13. You know, you're saying that you saw a lot of people play volleyball in Samoa, and when I was 12 and 13, I just started walking down, you know, and started playing volleyball, playing touch every evening, and slowly started losing weight from then on.
Yeah, and now you're like a picture of health.
Oh, thanks. Yeah.
Aren't you? Yeah, I mean, exercise obviously plays a big part in your life. Like it's part of your
Yeah,
career
absolutely.
for starters. But how many times a day? How many times a week do you work out?
I try and work out every day.
Yes.
Not, you know, aggressively or high intensity. So Thursday, I'll go to the track or just go for a run. And then Sunday, I'll just bike for 45 minutes or run for 45 minutes. But, you know, the days in between that would be a combination of strength and conditioning. Yeah.
Yeah, you can tell it's a big part of your life now. Like it's a cornerstone, really, of who you are.
Yeah. I mean, it makes me feel good. I always feel good after exercise. And, yeah, I love it. I think more people should get into it. Yeah.
How does that work with the sort of? It seems like you do a lot of baking.
Yeah.
And your baking doesn't seem to be, aligned with I don't know, like exercise and fitness and health. How does that work? You just bake and then pass the goods on, or
No, I eat
just
it.
balanced?
Yeah, I get asked a lot if I eat my baking. I do eat it, and obviously not the whole thing. Like usually I'll give it to the neighbors, or I'll take it to the gym, or give it to a mate that lives down the road. But I think, exercising, working on yourself, having treats. I think that's all important to kind of incorporate all of that into a well-balanced lifestyle. Yeah.
Yeah, all in moderation. Yeah, and actually, in saying that, you brought some baking in this morning. What did you bring to the team in the office?
I baked some chocolate chip and macadamia nut cookies. Yeah.
Oh my God, yum.
Yeah.
Okay, let's go back to ManCanCook. And first of all, why did you call it ManCanCook?
I think because I started filming in 2014, and I named it ManCanCook back then. And I think back then there was probably a stigma that men can't cook. I don't think it's prevalent now. I think back then there was that stigma, so that's why I named it ManCanCook, because men can cook. Yeah.
Because your name's Daniel Rankin, you could have called it Dan Ran Can Cook.
Yeah, I should have named it something like that. Yeah.
So what's the you've had a real sweet spot now, haven't you? I saw your YouTube page, and you it's almost like you've neglected that. Like you've and Facebook as well. Like you've sort of neglected that, but it's you've had a real sweet spot on like TikTok and Instagram.
Yeah, I mean, I think if I had someone like an admin person, I'd probably try and grow Facebook and YouTube, just because I still got all my videos, but it can get quite overwhelming, posting on every single social media platform and trying to grow every single one at the same time. But yeah, I focus mostly on Instagram and TikTok.
Yeah. And what's the creative process? Like, do you have like a week schedule, like a day where you storyboard and a day where you source the props and the costumes, and a day when you film, a day when you edit? How does it all work?
So Monday is when I generally have an idea on Monday. I don't really storyboard, because as long as I have a rough idea of music and what I'm baking, that's enough for me. The great thing about cooking is it's storyboarded for you. Like you have a recipe, and each step is pretty much a storyboard from my perspective. But yeah, Mondays we get the ingredients we need, and then we'll probably bake it once on Monday, and then we'll film on Tuesday, Wednesday, edit on a Thursday, and then post, and then kind of engage with the audience on a Friday when we post. Yeah.
How do you select the songs? You choose some real random songs, eh?
Thanks.
Songs that you think wouldn't necessarily work, but somehow they do.
Yeah. Mostly when I'm walking Fraser, so I'll have my earphones in and then kind of just, play a playlist, and then generally a song would come to me then. Or when I'm driving, but I guess I'm not actively like searching for music, it's just as I'm going about my day, I'm playing music, and then if a song comes to mind, I'll use it. Yeah.
Now, who do you live alone or you live with others?
Just Fraser and I.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's a good thing because it must be messy. Like you're tossing, you're stirring things and you're tossing utensils. Where are you throwing the utensils?
There's just a side, like on the left side. There's like sometimes I put a towel down, but most of the time I'll just keep the door open and it will just fly on the deck, and then I'll just go and grab it, tidy it up quickly, and then get back to filming.
Yeah, and then you're like jumping over the kitchen bar, and There's a lot going on. Is it a bomb site at the end?
Yeah, it is. I've gotten better at cleaning as we go.
Mm-hmm.
So, usually I'll throw something or make a mess and then I'll clean it up and then get back to the next shot. Yeah. But, I mean, it's a mess, but it only takes 15, 20 minutes to clean it up. Yeah.
Yeah. And what about the ideas for the props? Like whether it's like a gas welder's mask or a cowboy hat or whatever. Where does the idea for them come and where do you source them?
That just comes with the theme, I guess. Like the gas mask would have been, Genuine Pony, Magic Mike in the scene where he kind of had a gas mask on and was welding. So that's where I got that. I borrowed it from a mate. If it's a country song, we'll wear our cowboy hats or get our stick pony. What else? Bad Touch. So the music video, they're wearing monkey outfits in it, and I had a monkey outfit for Fraser. So I chucked that on. And then usually my favorite ones are like the slow kind of 80s love songs, Phil Collins. And Fraser will have a theme outfit for that. Usually it's a suit or his afro kind of toupee beanie. His wig. Yeah.
Yeah, you do love a 1980s power ballad, don't you?
Yeah, I do. Yeah.
Massively.
Yeah.
And what about all Fraser's outfits? He must have a hell of a wardrobe.
He does. He's got a lot of outfits.
Where are they from? You get them from like Temu or?
Kmart, to be honest.
Kmart?
Yeah.
Actual.
Kmart's got a lot of dog outfits. So
Unreal.
Over the years, I've just gotten them from Kmart. And then some from Amazon. Yeah, and those are probably the only two places, yeah.
I need to go back to Kmart and have a good look. I got Kanye like a denim jacket there once.
Oh, yeah.
Which is great. I didn't realise they had a huge range of dog stuff there, though.
Like, not a massive range. I think every couple of months they'll get new stock in, and I'll just, remember to kind of check in, see what they've got, and then, just keep buying stuff. Yeah.
So you film what? How much do you film? Like, are you filming nonstop for like an hour or a couple of hours, or are you just filming little bits and pieces?
Oh, okay. So usually we film nonstop for about 3 to 4 hours.
Oh.
Yeah. And then the next day it'll be about the same, maybe 2 to 3 hours, because it's quite the process. Like if you're baking, you got to mix all the ingredients and then chuck it in the oven and then let it cool down and then, ice it or whatever. If you're making a cake or, cheesecake, you got to let it sit overnight. So it does take a while.
That's so much effort for a 1 minute video.
Yeah, it is. I mean, it's hard work for sure. But we enjoy it. We have a good time. Yeah, I think the hardest thing for me is just starting. Once we're in the process of baking, it's actually a lot easier, and we find joy along the way, and yeah.
So you said we again, like you're speaking on behalf of Fraser.
Yeah, sorry.
Even
Fraser.
though right now, like he's got his head turned, he's like, I don't enjoy it as much as what you think, Dad. So for anyone that hasn't seen the videos, to paint a picture, so you're standing there dancing, looking sexy in the kitchen, and Fraser's just on a stool, just sort of watching you. How does Kanye's a very obedient dog, but he'd be trying to jump down. He wouldn't sit still. Are you telling me Fraser sits there on the stool for like 4 hours?
We have breaks, so I bring him down maybe every half an hour to see if he wants some water, if he needs to go to the toilet, and then back up. But he does just sit still there.
How did you train him to do that?
Unintentionally, when I got Fraser, I owned a gym and was coaching a lot of classes. So I got him, and I'd be coaching a class. He'd be out back, and he'd just be, barking, looking for me. So I got one of those big 75 centimeter boxes at the gym that you do.
Oh, box jump
things.
Yeah, one of those big sort of foam.
Yeah.
Thick foam boxes. Oh yeah.
Yeah. So I just put him on that, and then he'd just watch me coach a class, and just chill out. And I think the box is pretty much the same height as his seat. So I think he's like, oh, cool. Like I get to hang out, and yeah.
Oh, that's amazing. You must get a lot of DMs about him. Like people must love the dog.
Yeah. Everyone loves Fraser. Yeah.
And what about criticism or trolling or negative feedback?
Yeah, I mean,
to be fair, sorry to interrupt you there,
okay.
but it's like there's there's absolutely nothing to criticise about what you do, but it's just the nature of, I suppose, like the more popular you get, and especially when you get to like 600,000 followers, not everyone's going to be on your side. Some of it may be rooted in jealousy or whatever, but what sort of negativity do you get?
I think when we started, we got a lot.
Like what?
Probably the worst one, messages like, what are you going to do when Fraser dies? That kind of really stung a little bit, but mostly like not too much negative stuff. Like they'll say comments like that about Fraser, or, you have your content's very repetitive, or, you're doing the same thing over and over. But like it probably gets to me for a little bit, and then, I do my best to kind of diffuse those thoughts and then move on.
Are you quite liberal with the block button? If someone's being an arsehole, you block them?
If they're really being an arsehole, I'll block them. But most of the time, I'll just reply with kindness and just send them a love heart, and then kind of get on with my day. I'm not going to spend too much time letting them occupy my mental space.
Yeah. Oh, that's a good way to handle it. You don't want to dwell on it too much.
Yeah.
And what are your goals for ManCanCook in the coming years? Like, do you want to do like a cookbook or anything, or?
This year, I think we just, we want to crack 1 million followers on Instagram. I think that would be cool.
How do you do that? How do you go from like 600,000 to 1 million? That's a massive amount of growth.
Yeah, you keep working hard and being consistent, posting videos every week, without burning out. Yeah. So that's the plan. I mean, we have got a cookbook in the works at the moment, and we've got a few like food festivals that we're attending. Well, I'm attending this year. Yeah. But I think, people always ask like, what's your goals? I think we're just going to keep creating and keep working hard. Yeah.
Yeah, well, people are enjoying it. You've hit a real sweet spot.
Thanks.
Yeah. I've got some general food questions. So the passion for cooking, how did that begin?
I think when I was a kid, I kind of needed to learn how to cook to be independent. And
just when you moved to New Zealand
Well, in Samoa as well.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, so, I'd cook feeds for my mates. And then when I came to New Zealand, obviously living on my own as a kid, I had to learn how to cook as well. But I found joy in it. I found that it kind of helps me be present. I think, it's quite hard to be present in life these days, and cooking just helps you narrow down your focus. And
Do you still like Samoan foods like taro and corned beef and stuff?
Oh, absolutely.
Do you like corned beef?
Yeah, I love corned beef.
Oh my
Taro,
God.
I'm not a big fan. I mean, it doesn't really have much taste unless you cook it in like coconut cream. If it's in umu, it's got so much flavor, like from the smokiness. But I love corned beef. What else is it? Chop suey. Yeah.
What about the one of my enduring memories of Samoa is just outside the villages, like strands of fish. People selling fish on the street, and there's like flies on them
and
usually.
Road dust and everything on it.
Yeah. The people selling fish, do they make all right money? Like,
I think they do. I mean, they live off the land. I think they wouldn't have many expenses as well. So, they just sell their fish.
Yeah. Oh, no, I love that.
Yeah.
What's your go-to meal when you're short on time?
When I'm short on time, I probably will just whip up like some scrambled eggs on toast. Otherwise, like I'd buy one of those pre-made salad mixes and then a can of tuna and then a bit of mayo, and then that's it. Yeah,
because we got together early in the morning, early-ish in the morning to do this, like 8:30. What have you eaten so far today?
In the morning, I have probably a quarter of a cabbage and some fried eggs for breakfast.
Cabbage for breakfast?
Yeah.
Why?
Well, I don't exercise in the mornings, and I don't need a massive amount of carbs. But like, I'm a big eater. I like to feel full. So cabbage, it's large in volume but low in calories. So I'll just smash back a whole bunch of cabbage and 3 eggs and a few egg whites and some ketchup. That's my breakfast.
Does cabbage make your fart stink?
I don't think
Does
so.
it, or is that-
No, I don't
no.
think my farts stink.
I don't know.
Well, I mean, they stink, but like I don't fart.
You've been living with a dog for a very long time.
Yeah, I never know if it's mine or Fraser's. So.
Oh, no, you know if it's a dog one, right?
Yeah.
When Kanye does one, it's just like this thick.
Yeah.
Oh, it's
But surprisingly,
unbelievable.
Fraser doesn't fart much. I mean, he doesn't snore much like a pug. Yeah.
There was maybe about 20 minutes ago, the microphones probably didn't pick it up, but one of the dogs was snoring.
Oh, yeah.
I don't know if it was
Fraser.
Fraser or Kanye.
Yeah.
But they're being very respectful, leaving each other alone.
Yeah, I think they got their backs turned towards each other. Yeah.
Yeah. What is one underrated cooking tip that everybody should know?
Good question. I'd say like sharpen your knives. I think that's very underrated. Get a good knife. I think that's going to make chopping a lot easier, and it's almost safer in a way as well. Like, blunt knives can cause a few accidents. Yeah.
Have you ever had like an accident in the kitchen with a knife or anything?
Not a big accident. I mean, I've cut my fingers and stuff like that, but nothing serious, fortunately. Yeah.
Yeah, because cooking's one of those things where you have to be very present, or accidents can happen. I'm
Yeah,
thinking
absolutely.
if you're sidetracked because you're thinking about content and the next shot and whatever.
Yeah, exactly.
It could be nasty.
Yeah.
Are there any foods that you absolutely refuse to cook or eat?
I don't like mint. I find anything with mint in it feels like I'm just eating toothpaste. But that's about it, really. Yeah.
And if you could only cook with 5 ingredients for the rest of your life, what would they be?
Cabbage. Cabbage. I mean, probably flour, butter, sugar, and then meat, some type of meat, and rice. Yeah.
Why? For the health benefits, or?
I think like flour, butter, sugar could probably the basis of a lot of baking, and if I wanted to bake stuff, and then I guess rice and meat. I enjoy eating rice and meat.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, that's cool. Hey, thanks for sharing that. I've just got a couple of like random sort of mental health based related questions to wrap it up. We talked about Brené Brown before, and the importance of vulnerability and stuff. Like, do you have a good network, a good inner circle of close friends that you can talk to about stuff? Oh, Fraser!
He just jumped down.
Did he just jump down?
Yeah.
Fraser! Who's a good boy?
Come on.
You're a good boy too. Come here, Kanye. Come here.
I'll just hold him. Yeah.
Here we go.
Do I have a good network of friends?
A good network of like close friends that you can talk to.
Yeah, I do. My brothers, and I got a good group of friends at the gym that I can talk to. But I try not. I mean, I'll chat to them about stuff I'm going through, but try not to emotionally dump on them. Kind of leave that to my therapist. Yeah.
It's heartaches. It's important to be open, but then your friends aren't.
Your therapist
aren't trained.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, so they can't. Any advice they give you, it's coming from a good place, but it's not coming from a professional place.
Exactly. Yeah.
What about adversity? What's the biggest sort of adversity you've been through in your life so far? I'd imagine that move to New Zealand was quite unsettling.
That was unsettling. I found relationship breakups quite challenging.
How long were you together with your partner?
We were together for about 5 years.
Right.
Yeah.
Any chance of mending that, or is that ship sailed?
I think that ship sailed.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, there's that saying, this may even be a Brené Brown thing, but people come into your life for a reason, a season
absolutely.
or a lifetime.
I mean, despite how difficult it was, I'm super grateful for it. Like, even though it was the most challenging experience, it's the one I've experienced the most growth from in life as well. So I probably wouldn't have it another way.
Yeah, you're a sensitive fellow, eh?
Yeah.
And a deep thinker. What's your inner voice like? Are you quite kind to yourself?
I try to be.
Yeah.
I mean, I think, I'm kind to myself. I probably more confident in my mind, like the voices, I tell myself I can do things, and when I'm tired and don't want to go to the gym, I encourage myself just to go anyway, or when we don't feel like filming, just positive thoughts, I guess. Yeah. Or just more regulating or diffusing the negative thoughts is probably a lot of it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
What about are you quite an emotional guy?
I think so.
Yep.
Yeah. I'm quite emotional.
Yeah, you cry much?
Not really. Like when things are tough, like I'll cry. Yeah, but not weekly. Yeah.
Yeah. No, but even like happy tears.
Yep.
Yeah.
Happy tears. Yep. The other week, I just kind of envisioned Fraser and I, hitting 1 million followers, and just randomly while we were cooking, and that brought tears of joy. Yeah.
Oh my God, that's some powerful manifestation, isn't it?
Yeah, I guess so. Yeah.
Oh my God.
Yeah.
What about your best and worst habits? What would they be?
My best habit would probably be exercise. I think that's a habit I've made for sure. I mean, a lot of the time I don't feel like exercising, but I make it a habit to go. Worst habit. What would my worst habit be? Oh man. I guess my desk is my room's kind of messy. Like, I don't mind a messy room, but I mean, the house is pretty clean. But yeah. My desk is messy. Yeah.
Well, that the overweight little boy in Samoa that had to ride a bike with training wheels. What would he make of the man sitting in front of me now?
I think he'd be super proud. Yeah, getting a little emotional now thinking of it, actually. But yeah, I think he'd be stoked. I think he'd be proud of me, and he'd be happy to kind of see where he's going to be if he could see. Yeah.
Yeah, because you don't know what the future brings, eh? And
Exactly.
Yeah, to see that like everything's worked out good.
Yeah.
And you've done well. Yeah.
Thanks.
I think that's
Appreciate
really
that.
cool. Yeah. Is there a what if that keeps you up at night?
I guess it doesn't really keep me up, but I mean, what if, selling the gym, or, I was working in social media for an agency for a bit, quitting that job. What if there was a mistake and going full time as a content creator was a mistake? So I think sometimes that scenario plays in mind. Yeah, those thoughts play in mind. Yeah,
I suppose everyone wonders that, eh? And the timing's never right, like to go all in on.
Oh,
your...
absolutely. Like when I went all in, I was working. I still owned a gym, and I was working in a social media agency. And they didn't approve. I went to Hawaii, but they didn't approve my leave. So when I came back, I ended up kind of resigning. And I had to go all in. So it wasn't a decision like, oh, okay, I'm going to go all in. It was like, okay, they're not going to approve my leave. Okay, that's all good. I have no other choice. Yeah.
Yeah, so it's almost like you're pushed into the situation.
Exactly. Like
which is probably quite good because I think everyone's probably guilty of like taking the safe road or procrastinating.
Yeah, exactly.
Is there a mistake that you wish you could go back and correct?
Oh, I try not to think about that. I mean, there's a lot of mistakes I've made, for sure. Yeah. Yeah, for sure.
Well, I don't know. Yeah, I find it hard to believe. Yeah. What was your religion? Are you Catholic? No, what was...
So we grew up going to a Methodist church in Samoa. Yeah.
Because I can't imagine that you're the man sitting in front of me doing anything that's too bad, but I just wonder if you have a lot of like guilt. Like, 'cause I grew up as a Catholic, and so you have this thing called Catholic guilt. And,
oh, okay. I mean, yeah, I've made mistakes and I've got guilt, and I think a lot of that, I try not to think about it too much, but when I do think about it, I think no one's perfect, and a lot of the mistakes I've made doesn't make me a bad person. It just makes me human. Yeah. You
have to go easy on yourself and give yourself a bit of a pass.
Yeah.
What are you most afraid of?
Losing this guy. Yeah, that's probably what I'm most afraid of at the moment. Yeah.
You've still got a few years to go, eh?
Fraser?
Yeah.
He's got a long time to go, but that's probably what I'm most afraid of.
Oh, mate, it's like we talked about at the beginning of the podcast, eh?
Yeah.
Like, I think about it all the time.
Yeah.
It's amazing how much of my, like brain space it takes up.
Yeah.
Just the grief that I'm going to be overwhelmed with when he dies. It's amazing.
Oh, I know.
It's like a child that never does anything to piss you off.
And I think you can have all the tools and, get all the training to kind of regulate your thoughts and feelings, but it's still going to be tough regardless. Yeah.
Yeah, well, I suppose that's the thing. The flip side of like great love is great loss, isn't it?
Exactly.
Yeah. What about regrets? Any regrets?
Yeah, I guess regrets and guilt play in the same place. So yeah, definitely I've got regrets for sure. Yeah.
And what about future goals? Where do you see yourself at, like 50 or 60?
I really want to move to Queenstown. I grew up in the islands, so I was surrounded by beaches, but something about just like the mountains and, the snow I really love. So yeah, when I'm 50, I'd like to see myself living in Queenstown.
Still creating content?
Probably not the type of content that I'm creating now, but I'd definitely love to be, in the cooking space, cooking TV or TV shows and stuff like that, for sure. Yeah.
Right. Oh, so you see yourself like sort of like pivoting or just evolving and getting more clothes on as you get older?
Yeah, exactly. Probably. I'd love to be in shape when I'm 50 for sure, I think. But my content would probably be less theatrical and more chilled out.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But it's a funny journey, eh? Because you never know exactly where it's going to take you, or where social media is going to head, or
yeah, exactly. I mean, TikTok, got banned for what, I don't know, a few minutes or a few hours recently. So, if you make your income off of that, it's turbulent for sure.
Yeah. I just noticed your traditional Samoan tattoo on your right arm. Is that was that done by like a tattoo artist with a like a tattoo gun, or is that like a traditional?
It's a traditional one. Yeah, it's a taulima.
Right.
That's what it's called in
How
Samoa.
painful is that?
It's not too bad. I think when you get under the arm, around like the tricep area, that's when it gets real painful. Yeah.
So that's the tap 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 one.
Yeah, yeah.
Oh, that looks. I mean, the end result's amazing, but
Oh, sorry.
oh, that's all right. Yeah, no, that looks excruciating.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, it's painful for sure. Like anyone that says tattoos don't hurt, probably lying. But they hurt. Yeah, yeah.
And what 3 words would family and friends use to describe you?
I don't know. I mean, they'd probably describe me as quiet, for sure, but then confident, and probably fit in regards to fitness. Yeah, yeah.
Yeah, well, that's cool. And you're proud of yourself?
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
I'm proud of myself, for sure.
Awesome.
Yeah.
Hey, it's been really cool to connect today.
Yeah, thanks. Thanks for having me.
Yeah, I get the feeling, so even though you've got this sort of public profile, I get the feeling like you know, it doesn't necessarily come easy to talk about yourself.
It doesn't, no, for sure. And that comes from, I think, Samoan culture. Like even before I started creating content, I went to job interviews and, you know, stuff like that. It'd be really hard for me, you know, to ask you what your strengths are. And I'm like, I mean, I don't want to, I'm not going to tell you my strengths. That comes off as being, you know, big-headed in a way. But I guess, like I said earlier, you don't want to shrink yourself, but you don't want to puff yourself up. You know, you just got to stand on your ground, yeah.
I feel like that's a Kiwi thing as well. Like just you know not being allowed to sort of talk yourself up. And I feel like LinkedIn's probably changing that a little bit, and people are realizing you have to sort of lean into it and sell yourself a little bit.
Yeah.
But it's always been seen as like an anti thing in New Zealand, where you should wait for other people to talk you up, but you can't do it yourself.
Yeah, absolutely. I think there's a difference between, you know, being cocky and being confident. And I think you can, you know, talk about yourself in a positive light and come across confident, for sure.
Well, Daniel Rankin, you're a good man. You're doing great content, and it seems like you're a good role model as well. Like, I really appreciate you being so open to talking about the mental health stuff and the journey you've been through. And it's an honour to meet you and Fraser.
Yeah.
And I'm looking forward to continuing to consume your content.
Thanks, Dom. Thanks for having me. I really appreciate it. You know, big fan of you growing up. Yeah.
Oh, I don't know. That's alarming.
Is it? No, sorry. Yeah. Well, a big fan of you in general.
Yeah, yeah. Whenever someone
general.
says that, it's like, well, yeah, we did a lot of distasteful things on the radio.
Yeah.
You're a good man. Thank you so much.
All right. Thanks, Dom. Appreciate it.